What's Good Games. We are live from the show floor at E3 2017. I'm your host, Andrew Renee, joined as always by my fantastic co-host, Brittany Brombacher.
Hello.
Christine Seimer.
Hi.
And Alexa Ray Correa.
Hi.
Ladies, it is the end of E3. I never thought this moment would come. This is the last thing we are doing.
We've been here forever.
At the same time,
Forever.
We live here now.
it fucking flew at the same time.
It really did.
Wow.
I can't believe that we have been here at the Facebook booth all week. So if you guys are watching the video, you can see that we are on stage. We did some really fantastic live content with Facebook all week long, and a huge thank you to them for being partners with us and working with us. If you guys missed any of those interviews, you can see them all on facebook.com/E3Expo. We will be sharing them to our page. That's facebook.com/whatsgoodgames. It has been so nice getting to meet some of our patrons from patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. We've all got to meet a couple different patrons here at the show.
Yeah.
So you got a gift, Andrea.
I did get a gift. It's a little mini Aloy.
It's a cute,
So
adorable plushie.
So cute.
Yeah, it's
Very cute.
adorable.
Everyone has been incredibly kind. The patrons, you guys are the best. Like, it's an honor for us for you guys want to take pictures of us. It's like we're not, I mean, we're cool, but you guys are even cooler. So it's cool that everyone's like, hey, it's What's Good Games, let's take a picture. And it's like, oh man, like even when we're here, you guys can't see this, but everyone who comes in through this hall, there's an escalator, there's stairs, people will stop us there and take pictures and send them to us, and it's fantastic.
They're all looking at us.
Staring in the best way possible.
We're like in a fishbowl.
Also, take a shot every time I said cool.
Cool, cool,
Also,
cool.
like, big thanks to all our friends in the game industry for helping us to play literally all the games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most of the games.
Oh, well,
Andrea and
some
I
of us
had
got
some
to
of the
play a lot
games,
more
some of
games
us.
than others. I didn't get very many hands-on opportunities because I was here in the Facebook Live booth for most of the week, but that's okay because you ladies, boots on the ground, you
Many
got to play
boots.
stuff. So
Yes.
let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter show for us this week because of production capabilities that we're limited on. So look for our full-length podcast and videocast to be next week when we're back in the studio. But this is really all about the things that we saw at E3, what we played at E3, things we maybe didn't like here at the show. So before we get into specific games, let's talk about the show in and of itself. We've all been to E3 before.
Yes.
How was this E3 different for you, Alexa?
There were too many people. I'm going to say it. I withheld my judgment. We talked about this on the podcast a couple weeks ago about E3 being open to the public. I feel like there were too many people. It's fine if you open it up to the public, but I think we need to move to a Gamescom model or a Tokyo Game Show model where there's a business day where people that are doing business at the show can do their business or whatever business, and then
Business.
attendees can come and enjoy the games, because a lot of people came. And the lines, I mean, we got here on the first day, and you couldn't even get within 10 feet of the Nintendo booth. It was just completely packed.
Well, the first day there was a gigantic line just to get inside the expo hall. It was wrapping
Yes.
around the Los Angeles Convention Center because the people who run the show, I think, grossly underestimated what the queue process would be.
Right.
And I had mentioned this on social media saying, you know, hats off to Reed Pop who runs PAX and the PAX conventions.
Yep.
They really have a fantastic system down for managing this many thousands of people all trying to get into the same space at the same time. So they did work it out by Thursday.
They did. They did. Today was totally
But
fine.
it also might just be that there are less people coming on Thursday.
I think
like,
that's more it.
I think there are definitely less people here today than there were on Tuesday.
So for
Yeah.
me, like my whole thing was, I didn't mind that the public got to come to E3 because I know how cool it is to have that opportunity. And I was thinking, well, I have appointments. I'm not going to be too hindered by it. But what it did do that I wasn't anticipating was that in between appointments, if I had like 40 minutes to spare, I would generally, in E3's past, wander the show floor, check out some stuff. But it is just too utterly exhausting to try to make your way through the show floor. You don't, yeah, that's the one complaint I have. Like, all of my other appointments were behind closed doors, so I wasn't affected. But yeah, trying to manage that show floor is just...
Well, I'm sure by next year, like, this was a learning experience. And if they decide to do this next year, maybe split up the days. I'm sure we won't run into the crazy crunch that we did.
It won't happen.
Maybe if they split the badges up, like do it like PAX where there's like a day badge and then like a week badge.
Yeah,
but
if you just want to come
it
one
was
day.
nice having a lot of, you know, non-industry people here. Just maybe regulate the
Yeah,
crowd.
I mean, like,
People.
I think it's easy, obviously, to criticize the way that they handled the line situation, not only outside getting into the expo hall, but also within the expo hall itself. They just weren't prepared, but on a positive note,
Oh, yeah.
it did bring a lot of really fantastic, fresh energy, which was much needed at
Yep.
E3.
Yeah.
I think we all are guilty of sometimes getting a little fatigued, maybe a little run down, a little overworked, and it's hard to maintain that enthusiasm. And having so many people who have had that lifelong dream of coming to E3 for the first time be here to really reinvigorate us was really wonderful. And getting to meet, fans of our show, fans of our previous work, getting to meet other people that we work with, seeing our friends
Yeah.
at Rooster Teeth, at IGN, at GameSpot, people that we've worked with in the past was also a really nice treat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, like I said, the one issue I had was getting around the show floor. But other than that, the energy, people are chanting, people are screaming when
Yeah.
they're like doing awesome things. And it's like, thank you, I needed that shot of energy.
Exactly.
Feed
Yeah.
me your energy.
So Steimer,
Yeah.
you were hosting quite a bit here with me in the Facebook Live
Yeah,
booth,
girl.
but you did
Yes.
get some hands-on time to go roam the floor. What'd you see that was cool?
I only got to see one thing because everything else took too long. But that was Super Mario Odyssey. So I got to
Oh my gosh.
play a little bit of that. Everything else that I played this week, I played at a showcase, which was away from the show floor. It was not even part of E3 technically. It was like a before E3 even started thing. So Super Mario Odyssey for me, I literally got to play for like 5 minutes. I got a we aren't supposed to do this kind of appointment sort of a thing.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Nintendo.
And so, yeah, thank you. But because of that, because it was so short, it was really hard for me to grasp the motion controls because I don't play with motion controls a lot.
Sure.
So I was like trying to throw my hat out, and in Super Mario Odyssey World or whatever the fuck it's called.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario
Jump
Odyssey.
into the
Odyssey
sky, bum,
World.
bum, bum. Jump
You
because
throw
that's what
your
Mario
hat
does.
and you can hit
Dun, dun.
Goombas with it. But I was real bad at it and then she kept trying to tell me like, if you do this thing, it'll go in a circle,
You
and
have
I
to
could
sway.
not. I could not get it.
Okay, so
Literally, that's
Brittany
it.
and I got like 30 minutes with Super Mario Odyssey, and we played both of the worlds.
Yeah, and
Aw.
we played with the motion control, the Joy-Cons, and then I specifically asked if I could play with the Pro Controller a million times better.
That Pro Controller.
I wanted
Yeah.
to play it with the Switch all together. So they just gave me the two Joy-Cons.
Sure.
And the Switch was whatever, off doing its thing. But I'm like, but I'm probably going to play the Switch as a sort of a handheld kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to play it like that, but I just didn't have time.
It's interesting how a lot of the Nintendo Switch titles have so many different controller inputs. You can do the Joy-Cons individually attached to the screen or the Pro Controller. I don't know if that's going to help or hinder them in the long run, having to really accommodate for these multiple inputs.
Right.
But it certainly makes it harder for players, I would think. Did you guys find it did you find it enjoyable to use the separate Joy-Cons?
No, because I have played primarily the Pro Controller ever since I've had my Switch. That's the only way I play Zelda.
Yep.
And so I'm very familiar with the Switch in itself. But then when she handed me the Joy-Con controllers, I was like, okay, A is this button. Okay, where's the minus sign? Like, how do I push the buttons on the fly? And I felt like a
Right.
noob. And I was like, So no, I don't like having to know, because it's hard enough to jump between a Switch controller, an Xbox controller, and a PlayStation controller. And now you have to learn 15 different iterations of the Switch controller. So
Yeah.
So Britt, do you ever play your Switch all together? Do you travel with it and play it all as one
I
thing?
do
or-
travel with it, but I only play my games on TVs.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Well,
I prefer
haven't
the
played
TV.
Zelda handheld because I play it on my projector at home with my fiance, and so it's not as enjoyable for us both.
On your projector? How big is that
Jeez,
screen?
money bags.
It's like
over here.
118 inches or
Oh,
something.
my Lord.
It's sexy. So I'm spoiled.
sexy
I'm
and
spoiled.
you
So I
know
can't
it.
go from that beautiful surround sound theater atmosphere to a little screen.
That makes sense. I don't blame you for that.
Yeah, on the subject of the controllers, talking about their bazillion controller setup. So I played Fire Emblem Warriors directly after we played Super Mario Odyssey, and I was holding the Joy-Cons, and the woman actually said, "You're not going to want to play this game with the Joy-Cons. You want to play with the Pro Controller."
Oh.
So people who work for Nintendo who are demoing it are like, "Nope, that's not the controller you want
I
to
have
use."
a big
But it's the
problem with that,
controller that came
though.
with
Yeah,
the
that
came
makes
with
me
the
annoyed.
the thing.
Right, so here's the thing. The Pro Controller is an extra expense. And so when
It's like
developers-
90 damn bucks.
It's way too expensive. And so for a developer to say our game is best played with a Pro Controller makes me kind of angry. And it's hard for me to direct that anger either at the development team for making their game a specific way or at Nintendo for making these kind of bullshit little baby controllers
to be
that are
fair-
very difficult to use.
Before we go
Yeah.
forward, I don't think she was a developer. I think she was just someone doing
Or
the
the person
demo.
demoing, yeah.
She
Okay. That said,
But even still.
But no,
she was
for sure.
still a paid representative of this company
Yes.
inside the booth,
Right.
telling people it's better to play with the Pro Controller, even if that's not a direct message from Nintendo or
Right.
from the developer. Just the idea that it's better to play with the Pro Controller. I think overall, we can agree that every time
yeah.
we've played a Nintendo Switch game, it is better with the Pro Controller.
Well, some of us have little raptor hands and can't wrap their hands around those tiny
Not
little
all of
Joy-Cons.
us. All of us.
I have extremely tiny hands, and
Baby
I
hands.
have trouble using. Well, that was mostly just when it was one Joy-Con. Trying to use that on the side, that was really difficult. But for me, I'm hoping. Well, now I'm debating. Now I'm debating my future purchase because if I want to use this traveling, that's all I want to use it for. And if I'm obviously gonna have to use the Joy-Cons when I travel, and if they suck,
There's a good kickstand, thing that you can get. You can take the Pro Controller with you.
great. So that's more money.
Well, also the Switch comes with a dock for your Pro Controller, so it's not like you have to have these little. It feels more like you're holding an actual controller with a little dock.
Yeah, the little
Okay.
dog
the
thing
dog
that goes in the
thing.
middle.
You put the Joy-Cons
but
on
anyway.
it.
I don't want to
You'll
get
be fine.
Yeah,
We'll-
I don't want to go
we'll
down
help
this
you
rabbit
later.
hole of debating the efficacy of the hardware.
Baby hands.
I
do
will
have big
say,
hands.
of all the first-party booths that are here at E3, everybody that I've talked to has said, I want to go to Nintendo. You have to go see Nintendo. Nintendo is on my list. There wasn't one person that didn't talk about Nintendo being something that they wanted to see. And I think that that's important for us to mention, that they had the most amount of generated positive buzz. Even though Xbox announced the Xbox One X, they didn't overcome Nintendo. And I think a lot of that has to do with the software offerings that they brought.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Nintendo was my favorite press conference, if you want to call it that, of E3. Freaking buzzed. I loved it so much, and you just can't go wrong with, like I was talking to Bill and you during one of our interviews. You have Kirby, you have Yoshi, you have Mario, you have Zelda, you have Pokemon titles coming, and I think
Mario
everyone
plus Rabbids.
Mario Rabbids. Everyone's
Yeah.
feeling that buzz, and that booth was just incredible. They always go. Last year, did you see their Breath of the Wild booth?
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful.
That was really beautiful last year.
Also, it was 27 minutes long. Thanks, Nintendo.
what
Yep.
was 20? Oh,
It was really short.
Yeah,
it was
great.
So
Have you had
good.
a chance to check it out?
I did not even enter the West Hall this year.
Oh,
The
no.
first
And it's
time
literally
ever.
down that way. It's
After
not
we're
far.
done shooting, if we still have some time left, I might sneak in and run around. But this would be my first E3 that I didn't get to see the Nintendo booth.
Oh.
But you know what? That's okay, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos and photos and stuff out there that I can look at.
Brittany and I rolled around in it.
Let's talk some more about games. So, Alexa, you got to play probably the most out of all of us.
I played so many video games, you guys. It's probably the year I have played the most video games at this convention.
Like on the show floor, or I mean in total, including
Both.
showcases?
I spent the most time on the show floor this year than I have in years past.
And how many E3s?
This
have
is
you
my
done?
6th.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like the traditional press grind kind of keeps you away from just wandering, but like I had time to like sneak in and go look at stuff, and like we spent a lot of time at the Nintendo booth this morning, and I got to go to Ubisoft and play the stuff we didn't get to play at the showcase.
Did you play Mario?
I did play Mario.
How'd
We
you
should
like it?
Rewind real quick, because
Oh,
I know
sorry.
we kind of went down a weird hardware rabbit hole. Mario Odyssey, phenomenal, very very good game.
Do you wanna-
And
do you wanna
were
talk- do you wanna
were
get
just
into
going
Mario?
This weren't you?
We can get into
You guys
Mario.
You guys already talked about Mario.
did.
Mario's
Is there-
great.
Is there
we
more
didn't,
you need
no,
to say?
because Christine was saying that the motion control she couldn't get into. Then we went down the weird rabbit hole of
that's
hardware.
true.
Right.
And so,
I
but
did
we,
like the game in general.
Yeah,
though.
I just wanted to rewind and say that the game is phenomenal. It's very very good, and I just wanted to make that point.
I will
Well,
play that game.
We never talked
also-
about the actual game.
It also just like if you're like if you've followed Mario throughout the years and the Nintendo properties, there's a lot of little Easter eggs and things you can find that sort of reward you for being with the series for so long. Like the mayor in New Donk City, it's like all over the internet now, but the mayor is Pauline from the original Donkey Kong games, and she's like this beautiful like in like a full body like red suit, and like there's another character which I won't spoil that's like hiding out on a rafter and like in like the city, and then there are these puzzles you can actually find like hieroglyphics puzzles that you jump into, and it becomes an 8-bit Mario game, and you can use them to like get around, kind of like you do in A Link Between Worlds when you're the wall painting.
Yeah.
And it's just so incredible, and there's all these little things, and then in addition to that, there's just like the kind of like the really like anachronistic, like Mario's never done this before. Like one of the hat options is a fedora. Like you can buy him a business suit and a fedora, and you've got
Wait,
this
Mario
like
in a
my
fedora?
God.
yeah, and he's like this amazing little like
amazing.
like 1920s Fedora Man Mario.
Oh, I
Man
bet.
Mario.
You know,
I
it's
like
interesting that you guys
possessing
have all, had this really positive experience with it, because I don't know if you got the impression, but last year when they kind of announced this game, there was a lot of hate towards it. Everyone's like, what is this weird Mario? It's set in the city. I don't know what this is. And now it's like a 180 from there. Everyone's like, oh
Everyone's
my
like-
gosh, Odyssey.
Everyone's like, oh my god, T-Rex, I could be a T-Rex.
Right. You can like be on a dinosaur. The thing is, it's not, so that city with like the realistic looking people, yeah, it's fucking weird to see Mario next to a human man
Yeah.
who looks like a human man.
Who you can control.
But then there's another one of the who you can control. You can throw the
You throw
hat
the
on him
hat
and
on
be
him.
the human man. I drove an RC car very badly as a human man. That's like one of the mini games. But the other environment that we spent time in is like this desert town that's been frozen over, and the people that inhabit it are like those little Day of the Dead, like skull
dude,
guys with little
yeah,
sombreros, and
those.
there's posters all over it for like Bowser and Peach, wedding of the century, and Bowser's all dapper and Peach is like, and it's like really, really
Wow.
excellent. Something is
Hello.
happening.
But you
That's
also,
the Let It Die booth. They're being
But-
very loud over there.
you also played Fire Emblem though.
I did.
Not Fire, yeah.
I did play Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem was great. I don't like the Warriors games, the Dynasty Warriors games as a rule, just because they get really repetitive. But Fire Emblem Warriors takes elements from recent Fire Emblem games and adapts them in a really, really smart way. I don't know if any of you played Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Nope.
Just me over here in my little weeb corner. I'm just going to stay here. So to make it short, there's a mechanic in Fire Emblem Awakening where you can pair two characters up on the same space on the battle grid, and they can use more powerful attacks and attack together. And they use that on the battlefield in the Warriors games. And it's like a really smart way to adapt that for a different property. I really liked it. It was good.
Nice. So, Britt, you got to see some stuff behind closed doors. Do you want to tell us about some of the demos you got to see?
Yeah, so the only two titles I actually went hands-on with were Super Mario Odyssey and Harvest Moon, which I can talk about in a little bit. I saw Vampyr, which I talked about earlier. I think it was during one of our Facebook live streams.
It was, but let's talk about it again here for people who missed it.
Vampyr is Dontnod's new vampire action-adventure RPG sandbox title.
I heard RPG.
Now they're just throwing genres in there for the sake of it.
It's like a whole bunch of things.
All of the genres.
And they're the guys, obviously, guys and gals who did Life is Strange.
Yeah.
And not the weird, but like the main premise of it is that you are this doctor. It's 1918. The Spanish flu has destroyed everything and everyone, and you are a vampire. And in order to, and you are a hidden vampire, and then
Secret vampire.
Secret vampire.
Are there
There's-
open, like publicly?
Are there out vampires?
Outed yeah,
There-
that's
yeah,
the word
there
I was
are.
looking for.
They're outed vampires, and there is a group trying to kill all these vampires, and it's great. No, it's not. That's bad. You are a vampire, so you don't want that.
No, I was
So
gonna say, that
anyway,
sounds bad,
so the
actually.
point is,
Do you know that other people are vampires? Or are you in like a secret vampire? Like, do you know there are others out there like you?
I'm not sure because
Okay.
you are a hidden vampire, and
Okay.
there was one part in the game where you see, because it's a time where people are taking advantage of everyone, and there's a private investigator who is a self-declared vampire expert, and he is frauding this woman out of saying that her husband was killed by a vampire attack, and he's like, I'm a vampire hunter and finder, blah, 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 but you are a vampire standing right next to him, and he has no idea that you are a vampire. So
Did you kill him?
So there are hidden vampires. Anyway, so the whole point, like one of the main features they talked about is that you can get experience points by killing bad guys, sure, but the best way to level up is to eat citizens.
Wait, but you're a doctor. Isn't there like something in the doctor code about not eating other people?
You're a
No,
fucking
not doing
vampire
harm.
doctor. Shit's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
You
that-
need
rules
to harm
don't-
some people to help some people.
Rules don't apply when you're a vampire doctor.
That's
Here goes
I mean,
Alexa again.
you need to eat, otherwise you die, and then you wouldn't help anybody else.
But he's a doctor.
He is a doctor.
Okay.
Doctors
moving
kill
on.
people.
You have to kill citizens, and Andrew's face right now.
She's like, guys, come on.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'm not incredibly exhausted and over here listening to you guys be like, he's a doctor. I'm like, what's happening right now?
Okay, so whoever you kill, it causes ripples throughout the story. And like Dontnod games, you have lots of choices that you have to make, and you can fuck everything up, and you will get a terrible ending.
I thought you were just going to stop with you can
But-
fuck everything, and I was like,
Ooh,
what?
that would be my kind of
Take
game.
note, Bioware.
Vampire sex. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing is like, who do you kill? Who do you let live? And what impact does it have on the world around you?
Okay, I have some questions for you. So, knowing the style, the visual style, and the gameplay of Life is Strange, is it kind of similar to that, or is the art style like wildly different?
It's wildly different in the sense that it's realistic looking.
Okay.
It's not like cel shaded, cartoony looking. It's coming out, I want to say late in November this year, which
so
makes
it's mostly done probably.
Well, that's why I'm a little nervous. Is because it doesn't look. They have more time for development. They have probably 5 months or so. But I know whatever. Point being is that the facial animations are off. It does look a little janky. Like the mouth movement is like not there.
I'm sure all of that stuff will hopefully come together in the final polish.
I hope so, but it probably just needs a fresh coat of polish. But other than that, I mean, it looks great and it looks very interesting.
Are there conversation choices like they are in
Absolutely.
Life is Strange?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So there's like one instance where you're the doctor and there are vampires coming to like try to destroy the hospital. And you can tell the guy that you're talking to that I will protect your hospital. This is your fault, or I'm not going to protect the hospital. I don't know the consequences of those actions. We didn't get to see like that far much of the story play out. So I don't know if it's like a huge choice or if it's not, but it's there.
Okay. Cool.
Is this the game that is in the World of Darkness universe?
I have no clue.
Because I know someone lost the license, and I think Don't Nod picked it up. There's like a World of Darkness vampire thing.
Maybe.
I'll have to go look this up, but that's what this sounds like to me. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I didn't get to play too much here, but I did want to talk about the hands-on time I spent at the Ubisoft showcase. So I was really, really impressed with Ubisoft's press conference, with the games that they're offering, that I'm finally vindicated. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced.
Yes.
Steimer and I got the chance to talk to Dean Takahashi from GamesBeat and VentureBeat, and he got to see a behind closed doors demo of the game, and it sounds really amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that. It does sound like it's a little far away, despite the fact that the dev team got on stage and said they've been working on it for over 3 years. It sounds like we probably won't get it in 2018.
No, I don't think so.
Which is kind of a bummer.
Not even close.
But it does sound like what they're doing with it is going to make it a lot more open world. So if you guys didn't see the demo, on stage at the Ubisoft conference, there was this like giant pig character who was doing like a deal with this monkey character inside this shop, and the monkey ends up stealing something and running away. And what Dean saw was all the different ways you can actually move throughout this city. So after that little chase is done, they kind of take you on this journey and they show you the city and they show you like all these different places, and that just got me super excited. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. But my hands-on time, I think did we all get hands-on time with Far Cry 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Not I.
So Britt didn't get it, but it was great. So they introduced these 3 companions. We previously talked about them, a couple of them on the show, but we actually got to play with them. So this is a new mechanic for Far Cry. They've had companions and co-op in Far Cry before, but not like this.
Right.
So you can essentially like hot swap your companion. You can call them in. There's 3 that they were showing off. We've got Boomer, the dog. Guns for Hire is what they're calling him
Dog
officially.
for hire.
I'm like, he's a dog.
He was Fangs for Hire.
He doesn't have a gun. Yeah,
Fangs
exactly.
for Hire.
Baasss
it's
for
Boomer.
hire.
And then there was Nick Fry, Nick Fry, I think.
Fry?
He owns an aviation shop, and he's got a plane, and you can call him in, and he'll like drop bombs on groups of enemies. And then there's Grace.
I love her.
Who is a sniper. So if you want to really focus on like either melee or shotgun or close range weapon action, and you want someone kind of like giving you cover fire, she's a good person to be able to call in. And we got to play through the scene that you guys saw in the demo that they did on stage, and it feels very Far Cry, but the setting feels really fresh in a really unique way.
Yes.
Simon, you want to say something?
I want to say something because I've talked about this before on the podcast and how I get irritated whenever you'd have to go back to settlements basically and conquer them again. They confirmed that is not a thing in this game.
Woo-woo.
And
Yes.
once you clear a settlement area, it is fine. They can handle it themselves.
And you never have to go back and reclaim it.
I was like,
Good.
It's great.
thank you.
A question about the companions. Can they be handled by your friends? Is it co-op in that way?
No.
They are not talking about
They
that
didn't say
yet.
anything
Okay.
like that.
So hopefully we'll learn more about that later this summer. Traditionally, Ubisoft does a few different press events or previews before the game's release. It's possible that they're still working out details. Maybe the response was so good here at the show that they're like, everyone's like, can I play Boomer?
I want to be the dog.
Do you want to be my dog?
I just
Britt?
want to play that whole game as the dog. Like, forget being the human.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Far Cry
interesting because
Boomer.
I felt like I was a little frustrated that it seems like the dog is almost like the one to pick all the time.
Yeah.
Because he can go in really undetected, and he can take damage, but you can't kill him. And when I was playing with Nick as my companion, having him drop bombs, he just complained about getting shot the whole time. He's like, oh, I'm taking fire, I'm taking fire.
The
And
dog
you-
is a silent companion.
Yeah, and you really have to strategically use the bombs, because if you call him in, he's not a character that you can call in for immediate help. And like Boomer, you can call for, like, if you're under fire, you call and he comes into your aid right away. And so it was one of those things where I was like, well, maybe there'll be certain situations within the game that we have yet to see where
Yeah.
it makes sense to use a specific companion in a specific setting. But I really did like it overall. I think the game looks beautiful. I like that they are really like leaning into this controversial theme, this controversial setting of this like religious cult in, you know,
Yes.
backwoods America. I think it's going to be great to see how they handle this villain, this father character. Ubisoft's Far Cry team has been known for having really psychotic villains. So I really enjoyed my time playing that game.
Hey.
I'm going to back you up a little slightly because I played as Grace.
You played with Grace.
Whom you did not mention. I played with Grace. And she sounds like, because I didn't know what Nick could do, is like the happy medium between them. Like, if you go down, she's available in an instant to heal you and bring you back. Otherwise, she'll just sit quietly wherever you put her and just snipe people. She's pretty powerful.
No, having
So
somebody
she's
be
like
able to
a-
revive you is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like instant, like she's there. I don't know how she gets there so fast.
She teleports.
You
Secret
also
teleport.
played Mario and Rabbids.
I did.
But yes, Far Cry
so
looks great.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's a
That's
mouthful.
the one?
That's
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I always
fun. That's
forget
how
the
you
last
say
part
it.
of it.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So this game made a big splashy entrance. We obviously knew about this because, you know, the artwork leaked before E3, but then they showed us some gameplay on stage. I played about a 25-minute demo. A lot of people on Twitter, you know, were making the moniker of like Mario XCOM, and it really does feel like that. It's a very true to form turn-based strategy game where each of the characters kind of has like a unique skill set. So it's been fantastic to look at what the art direction team has done with the Rabbids and how they've really merged them with the world of Mario. Seeing these Rabbids, like, you know, Rabbid Peach and Rabbid Luigi,
They're so
and like
great.
for the enemy side, like Rabbid Donkey Kong, and seeing them
There's a
on
Donkey
the
Kong?
same play
Yes,
map.
there's a
I
Donkey
didn't.
Kong.
I didn't see the Donkey
The
Kong.
Donkey
did it?
Kong is great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
He's pretty
Damn.
great. And then they have traditional characters from Mario, you know, like the Chomp, you know, and we have obviously Mario himself. I don't think I saw any of the. Did you guys see any of the Koopas?
No.
No.
I have to imagine that they're going to be in the game at some point, but the team has been working on this game for over 3 years, they said, and it's the first game, it's the first Mario game to be developed outside of Japan, which is really kind of incredible
Whoa.
to think about.
No pressure.
Yeah, right?
They
No
were like, it's
pressure.
the first one in Milan, and I was like, yes.
Just takes one.
Very
Yeah,
specific.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was a little slow at first, like, you know, most turn-based stuff is. You have to get to learn, you know, the movement system, how far you can go, what items you can use, but I think it's a game that I'm really going to love. And it really lends itself to that portable gameplay of the Switch. And I think it'll be one of those games that people will take with them on their commutes or on planes, and they'll be able to really sink a lot of time into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to a lot. Actually, is I do want to get a Switch somewhat soon, because that game's coming out in August. I want to say.
Yeah, I believe it's
I can't keep
August.
Yeah.
track of all these
Yeah,
release
I don't-
dates. There's
I think it's August.
I don't
if
know.
I'm wrong, whatever, it's fine.
All the games.
It's this year.
Snymer,
Every game.
You
Yeah.
and I played South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
We did.
Me too.
Right. Okay, we
Oh,
were
yeah.
right next to each other, and it was glorious when we were playing it.
Thumbs up.
Yes.
Thumbs up.
I love
the butthole.
South Park.
Get it?
I'm here all night.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so tell us about what happened.
Okay.
You're in a strip club.
You're in a strip club, and
With strippers.
you have to find.
It's the
please,
given.
please refresh my memory. You have to find a stripper who has a penis tattoo on her.
Yes.
Yes.
And her name turns out to be Classy.
With an eye.
With an eye.
Classy with an I, and you
Yes.
have to find her for what reason?
We don't know yet.
We don't
Because
know why.
she knows she has a piece of information.
Yeah, she's got something
that you need
She's got a little
or something.
you need.
Okay, so you have to find Classy. In order to do that, you ultimately have to buy the DJ a drink. And in order to do this, you use a concoction. You make your own drink for him. It includes jizz,
Jizz
Yep.
and rat.
Jizz, rat shit,
and then
and
the
then a
gin and tonic.
gin and tonic.
This sounds like a South Park
It's
game.
freaking incredible.
And
it
then you
is-
fart on it. You forgot the farting.
Oh, yeah, you do fart
you
on
fart
have
on
to
it.
fart on the
Fart on
drink. And you do.
Of course you do. Oh, when you farting was a big mechanic in the first game.
Farting's
yeah.
back.
Just you
And you
wait.
throw your farts, and it's fantastic.
Throw your farts, or you throw firecrackers, or you throw a firecracker, start a fire, and then throw a fart.
So obviously, South Park: The
my
Fractured
God.
Butthole is, I think, way raunchier than The Stick of Truth, which is phenomenal. What we've seen
Yeah.
so far, I mean, we've seen titties. I mean, we've seen jizz everywhere. It's
You-
been
There were a lot of
fantastic.
nipples in that
game,
demo.
There were
you
nipples.
I
watch
feel like every time I turned around,
I
there
don't
was
think
a
we've
nipple.
seen anything yet. I think.
No.
But I'm saying like the first game wasn't tame by any means.
Oh no, but I think this one will be raunchier. I think they're really fucking going for it. They're
Well,
gonna
yeah.
push
It
it.
sounds to me like if they're willing to put out this kind of content at a public demo, because I remember when The Stick of Truth came out, there was like some controversy over like the anal probe scene in
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
And that was like buried deep in the game, right? We didn't really hear about that until, see what I did there? We didn't really hear about that until like after the game was released and players got their hands on it. I mean, so for Ubisoft to come forward and say, hey, the gloves are off. We're going to like throw dildos at you. We're going to talk about jizz. We're going to be in a strip club.
You beat up strippers.
I
You
mean, it
literally
really
beat up
like
a bunch of strippers.
it really feels like Matt and Trey are pushing it to the limits, which
Yeah.
is kind of their bag,
Yeah.
But the main thing is the combat. The combat has been overhauled, and I think
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
fantastic.
It feels
It's
a lot
turn-based. It's turn-based now, and it uses, like Fire Emblem, it's a grid, and you can only move a certain number of spaces on the grid, and then each of your attacks will hit only certain spaces on the grid, so you have to plan out where you're moving, where your comrade is moving, where the enemies are spaced, and some of the attacks will like freeze or stun or buff you and your companions, and you have to really think about it and really plan it all out.
And
It's
there's
actually
a little-
it's really involved. It's good.
Like a minor quick time thing that doesn't. It just basically gives you a boost. Like it's not gonna hurt. If you screw it up, it's okay.
It's like in Super Mario RPG. I'm going to throw that little reference out there. One of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time.
Yeah.
If you push A at the right time when you're being attacked, you'll take less damage. You push it at the right time when you're attacking, you'll deal more damage.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
It feels good to do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so ladies, we don't have too much time left, and I apologize to everybody listening. I know we could probably talk about a lot more. I'm gonna go down the line. Everyone tell me one more thing that they liked what they saw, whether it was a trailer, a gameplay demo, a hands-on experience, a cool thing at a booth. Alexa.
Shit.
Okay, Steimer.
Okay,
Come
I'm gonna
back
do
to me.
two quickly. So one Anthem announcement looked super cool, but it wasn't really
yeah.
here
No, it
anywhere.
wasn't. It was just at EA Plays Showcase, and that was it.
Right, so we didn't get to see much more than that, so we can't really talk more about it. But the other thing that I'm going to talk about is I played Assassin's Creed and I didn't hate it.
Have you hated Assassin's Creed in the past?
I just got really frustrated with it before.
Same.
That's fair. I
And
mean,
so, but this one I didn't feel that frustration. I was able because of bird vision. I was able to kind of go through the level before and scout and like mark people who were there, and then I was able to quickly go in and stealth and kill everybody the way I wanted to, because what always happens to me in anything that's stealth, you go in, you think you have a plan, and then some bro comes from nowhere, and
Yep.
you're like, well, everything's fucked now.
I lived for
Kill
those moments
everyone.
in Assassin's
Wow.
Creed, though. I loved it when all of the guards come running out, and you just get into these epic battles, and you're like slaying like
Well,
30
technically,
different
you don't
guards.
have to use the bird.
I mean, if it's a story-driven thing where they come at you, the guards, that's one thing. But for
Yeah.
me, it's when I'm trying to explore and I'm immersed and I feel like I can't even like walk by anyone without them being like assassin. That was my
Yeah.
problem, and it sounds like that
Yeah.
might not be the case in this one. We don't know for
I
sure,
didn't,
but
I didn't feel any of that in this demo. But that's not to say it was only 30 minutes. So
right.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I did like it. I'm actually gonna play this one. I really liked it a lot.
Me too.
Britt.
So I was hoping for a Dying Light 2 announcement. We did not get that. However, Techland did say that they are supporting Dying Light for the next 12 months with 10 pieces of free DLC. I always get those numbers mixed up.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, we don't know too much about the DLC yet, and they won't talk. And you mentioned Dying Light 2 to them, and they just turned the other way. So I think it's fair to assume it's a thing that's going to happen, but it's great to see them supporting the community. I think they still have like 500,000 active players or something.
That's really impressive.
Something like that. Yeah, they showed us all the numbers, and it's incredible. The other thing I saw that I have hope for, but I don't think they showed the best demo, was Harvest Moon New Light. Or Harvest Moon or New Light, something like that. It's the new.
Is it on DS? What is it on? Or Switch? Or what is it on?
No, so the thing with this one is why it's a big deal. It's coming to Switch, PC, and PS4. This is the first Harvest Moon game to come to console, I believe, since 2007.
Wow.
Whoa.
Since the Wii, I think it was Tree and Tranquility or something like that. So it's exciting. It's a smart move by Natsumi, seeing the success of Stardew Valley. I mean, everyone likes their farming games, and it's a good time for them to come in. I like my farming games, I
like
should say.
farming games, too.
However, the demo they showed, and this is something Natsumi does all the time, very, very early stuff at E3, and I tell myself every E3 that I'm not going to look at their booth because it's not reflective of their titles because it's always so early.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? They're showing a console game. It's going to be different. I came way too freaking early. There's no way that game's releasing this year. It's supposed to, but it's not. But I have fingers crossed, all the mechanics, everything I asked, they told me the answers I wanted, but it just looks like kind of garbage.
They
You mean
showed
just
it too soon.
graphically?
Okay.
They showed it way too soon.
You mean just graphically
that's
it looks
a tough
bad?
thing, right?
or-
Because a lot of devs need to kind of build interest, and it's a possibility that if they had shown something and it got really like universally panned, that maybe they would cancel it. You know, like I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe that's a reason why. Just speculating. Why they would show it this early?
No, you can't even enter any of the houses, and it's not because they don't want you to see. It's because I don't think they're even built yet. They have homes.
Yeah.
You give gifts to people. They don't even animate, and that's how you build your relationships with people.
Oh.
Like there's a windmill, and it literally moves like this.
Oh,
and it's
no.
really fluid.
That's not how a windmill
like,
works.
Bales of hay are
No.
nothing but just like
No.
static graphics.
Incorrect.
And I asked her about it, and she's like, yeah, it's early alpha, but I'm like, you're supposed to be coming out in December. And the thing about it, there's one more thing, I'll be done with it, is that especially with the public being here this year, so like we as game
Put your best
media
foot
journal
forward.
and critiques, we know what to look for. We know what's final in a game. We know it can be improved on.
Yeah.
The public doesn't really know that. So if they get their hands on that, they're going to walk away and be like, hell no, I'm not playing that game.
Was it public? Like, did they have that same thing on the public show floor?
It was public, yeah. It was their public
Oh.
booth in the hall. Anyone can play it.
That's not a good idea.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Ah, yeah.
Off soapbox.
Well, that's too bad.
I have my
hope-
answer now.
I still love you, Harvest Moon.
You have your answer now.
I have my
Alexa?
answer now. It's two
Okay.
things.
Ooh.
So one, there was anime on the Xbox stage.
There
Yes,
was.
There was a Dragon Ball. There was a
was.
whole 6 seconds in which Perfect Cell was on stage at the Xbox press conference, and only Brittany sitting here understands.
I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I get it.
It was great. And then the other one was an actual moment involving you, Brittany. So we were sitting at the Bethesda. I've never seen anyone this excited for anything in my life ever. We were sitting at the Bethesda press conference, and they were like, Skyrim on the Switch. And then they brought in the amiibo, and I heard Brittany just go, like an inarticulate noise. And then they put the amiibo on the thing, and the Master Sword comes out of the chest. And I've never heard anyone like just a guttural. It sounded like you were in pain, but also like having like the best orgasm of your life. It was
Yeah,
this like
that's about what it sounds
long
like, yeah.
guttural yell, and I went temporarily deaf in my left ear. And it was just
We
you
were
put your
sitting
hands
next
up,
to each other.
and
Yeah,
I
we
was
were
like,
at conference
this
too.
person is so excited for this video game thing that's maybe not giant, but is still like a thing that you love.
It's
And that was
Zelda,
just
it's
really.
Skyrim. It's me.
It was really uplifting. Like you were excited.
Skyrim, the
I got
game that's
excited.
been at E3 every year since it's come out.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Literally.
That's what, when we were watching
Oh
the
my
press
God.
conference together, I didn't even realize that I had said this. It was just like a
She's like sitting there
reaction.
texting,
And then I was just goes, more fucking Skyrim.
and I'm like,
Salty
excuse me.
Steimer, salty
And she's like, what did I
Steimer,
say?
back
And I'm like,
again.
you
Yeah.
just
Well, she
mo-
tweeted it, and I was like, wait, did I really say that?
Yes.
She was like, yeah, you did. Oh.
Britt,
Yes, more
explain
fucking
to the people
Skyrim.
listening and watching. Can you translate your guttural noises into
You
actual
might want to
words?
move the microphone slightly away from you.
So I'm sure the noise I made first was something like,
It was a much higher pitch than that.
no, the first one. As soon as I
first
saw
one.
Yeah,
the
the first
amiibo.
one was much higher pitch.
Really?
Oh.
You were like, it went like up and like you.
Can you
It
do
was
it,
like
Alexa?
a roller
Can you make
coaster.
the
Can you
noise?
please
You were
tell
like,
me?
like
No, what is that? What is that? What is that noise?
I don't even think
And I
Brittany
was like,
knows.
if what I think happens happens, and then it did.
So to be completely fair and transparent here, we did have some drinks at Bethesda
Some
Land,
drinks.
which
I only had one drink.
We
'cause the
couldn't.
line
The
was
bar
too
it was too
long.
busy to get more than a couple drinks.
it was, well, we were
I got
a
there
little
early
longer.
and
Yeah. Anyway, and so when I'm sober, you show me anything Zelda, I freak the fuck out, especially if I had a few drinks in me, and it's Skyrim, and I love Skyrim, and I love Zelda. It's a cool mashup, and honestly, it's also cool to see people actually supporting Nintendo. Like, yay, Bethesda, you're supporting Nintendo. More people need to support Nintendo. They always say they will, and they never do.
That's what I was
so
expecting.
That's exciting.
I don't think it's that they don't want to support Nintendo. I think Nintendo is creating hardware that isn't something that developers are looking to necessarily create content specifically for.
Well, maybe now they are.
It's, that's what it seemed like. It was
seeing the
changing.
response
The
to the
PS4 and the
Switch.
Xbox One are close enough to PC that if they wanted to make a game for all three platforms, they can. But if they want to make that game for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch, it's almost like they have to have another team to be able to, translate or dumb it down enough so that it runs on the Switch in the same kind of way.
So it's more that I'm happy for Nintendo, that I feel like they're finally kind of getting it, rather than like, oh, you're finally supporting them. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it looks cool. And I think, when the Nintendo Switch came out and when the announcement was that Bethesda would be working with them, everyone talked about playing Skyrim on the shitter, right? So
There you go.
now you're
Sure,
going to get it. It's coming
Now you
later.
can play as Link with
but-
Skyrim on the shitter.
What was your favorite thing?
I didn't.
You
I really
played
wanted
Sea
to
of Thieves
play
with us.
Anthem. So in our pre-E3 prediction show, I said this unannounced Bioware IP was the thing that I wanted to see the most, and we got it. Anthem. It looks really cool. The idea of a shared world RPG, kind of taking some elements from Destiny and mashing them up with the Bioware RPG kind of powerhouse. I really want to see more about the story of that game. It really looked beautiful, but I mean, we all play Bioware games for their story, for the narrative choices, for these characters and how they interact with each other. So in that
they wanted to show why it was different or how it was different.
Right. I mean, the exploration stuff seems cool, but I feel like everybody is promoting that these days. Everyone's like, open world exploration, it's this cool new thing. And I'm like, well, everybody's doing it now.
True.
So I want to know who these characters are. I want to learn more about them. But the thing that we did see, the asset was beautiful. We hope to be able to bring more information to you guys about that. But I also really loved seeing Wolfenstein come back. Obviously, we had hints that was going to be announced, and it was Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. We got to talk to Jens from Machine Games on the Facebook stage, and they had hands-on in the booth here at E3. It looks beautiful. I really, really enjoyed my time with the first one. A first-person shooter that's created purely as a single-player experience that has a really rich narrative tied to really slick, fun, highly polished shooting mechanics and gunplay is something that we don't get a lot of. And I think Machine Games really succeeded with that, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's coming out in October. It's coming out so soon.
Yay.
Which is exciting. So, and of course, Assassin's Creed looks amazing as well.
Yes.
But ladies, unfortunately, we can't talk too much more because we are out of time. But the good news is we'll be back in the studio next week. We will be streaming. We are changing our schedule. We will be posting details about that, not only on our Patreon page, but on our website as well and on social media. So we will be streaming on Thursdays starting next week. So if you guys have been following our streams, we had to change the scheduling around. We'll bring you guys more content. This has been great. So much time here at E3.
Yay! Go team!
Video
So
games.
Thank you again to all of our patrons who are supporting us. If you guys want to be part of our community, please join us at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. And of course, follow us on all of our social media accounts, which you can find on our whatsgoodgames.com website. Alexa Ray, if people want to follow you, where can they follow you?
At Alexa Racy on Twitter, at Alexa Ray on Instagram. I'm around.
Perfect. Steimer?
I'm at Steimer on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And I am at K-Steimer on Instagram.
Perfect. Britt?
At Blonde Nerd on Twitter, facebook.com/blonde nerd.
And you can catch more of my antics from E3 by following me on Twitter at Andrea Renee or checking out my Facebook page. Thanks, guys. I think that's a wrap at E3 2017.
We did it. Goodbye forever.
Oh, wait. Before we go, I know this is really at the end. You guys may have noticed these lovely ladies are wearing some shirts.
Oh.
So
One
we
week.
are in the process of prototyping some merchandise. This features our controller icon. Of course, since we are ladies, the first run of merchandise is ladies wear. But we're working on it. So if you guys have suggestions, or if you're like, hey, I'd love to see this kind of piece of merch, hit us up. Email us. You can reach out to us on social media. Leave us a Patreon post. But hope you will like them. I think they turned out really great.
So good.
I
So
really
good.
like them.
And we'll have more to talk about our PAX appearance, later on in the summer. All right, for reals this time. Now it's goodbye. Bye, everybody.